This has been a weird Christmas Eve, guys. Oh, yeah. Ugh. Alright. I don't know if you guys remember this. Maybe some of you do, some of you don't. But back in 2014, I told that story where I lost my name tag. Long story short, back in 2014 on Christmas Eve, I lost my name tag. Long story long, Santa Claus got involved. You know, I had to fight a bunch of ninja elves. Me and Santa teamed up with Rudolph, and we went to the North Pole, where there was this necromancer trying to awaken Great Cthulhu out of the abyss, which just happened to be located in the North Pole. Me and Santa Claus teamed up, and we beat that guy down. Yes, I in fact saved Christmas once. I don't like to brag about it because, you know, I'm not that kind of guy, but it is integral to this story that yes, in fact I did save Christmas once. Me and Santa Claus are pretty tight. Every Christmas he gives me free iced tea. So yeah, we're pretty chill, right? Okay. So, earlier today, I made that Lodestar video, an island in One Piece. I'm like, okay, that's the Christmas Eve video. We're all good to go. So I go shopping, right? You know, the stores close early today. I have to grab some stuff. I know, I'm one of those horrible people that shops on Christmas Eve. I used to work in retail for 7 years. There were people that came in on Christmas Eve buying all this wrapping paper and bows, and I'm like, did you not prepare for this holiday at all? But today I was that kind of dumbass, alright? So I go in the store and I start shopping, alright? I get me some wrapping paper and some presents and some bows, and it's absolutely insane, okay? I'm walking back to my car, and on my car there's an elf. Now, this is not an unusual thing in my life, so I kind of walk over and I'm like, oh, hey, elf, what's going on? I open up my door, I throw my stuff in, I'm ready to go, what's going on? So he hands me the letter. Santa Claus's personal invite. It's got like a red envelope. It's got the traditional Santa Claus signia on it. And he's like, you're needed, Tekking. And I'm like, son of a bitch, no, not again. I saved Christmas once, okay? Listen to me, all right? You might have watched old school television, you know, Christmas specials and movies where it's like, yeah, we're gonna save Christmas. Everything's gonna be great. And you want that too. Yeah, you want that too until that responsibility's up your ass, okay? I saved Christmas once and everybody was happy. You don't want that kind of responsibility, all right? Where if you screw up, literally every child in the world is disappointed in you, okay? Oh, so anyway, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. It's like, this is urgent. You need to come to the North Pole. Sleigh's right over there. And they didn't even send Rudolph or Comet. They sent freaking Vixen to pick me up. Come on now. I'm at least worth a freaking Rudolph, all right? Not freaking Vixen. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. This is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, we're getting back by 8 o'clock, all right? You know, we're getting back before I have to wrap presents and crap, all right? We don't have time for this. Actually, you know what? We're back by 5. And this elf is like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. Just get in the sleigh, asshole. I'm like, all right, cool. So we get in the sleigh and we, okay, I'm flying across the sky. You know, it's all so wonderful and whimsical and whatever. Okay, it's really not, all right? You ever been up to the freaking North Pole? Guess what? Spoiler alert, it's cold. And I'm wearing, like, it's actually pretty warm out right now. It's only like 34. It's not even freezing out right now. I'm going to the freaking middle of the Arctic. And I'm wearing a freaking hoodie and like a pair of cheap Dollar Tree gloves today, alright? Whatever. We go to the freaking North Pole, we get to Santa's workshop, we go into Santa's war room, which is right past Santa's, you know, cafe area. We go in there, we sit down. Santa's decked out, alright? He's got his candy katana, he's got a flak jacket, Rudolph's in there, all the elves are mobilizing. I'm like, what's going on? Santa Claus is like, Tekking, just the man I wanted to see. He's smoking a candy cane, alright? It's like a cigar, but it's like a can. Santa's like has a fetish for candy canes. Just roll with it, okay? When you've known him as long as I have, you just get used to it. Alright, so he's like pointing it at me. He's like, Tekking, opposite Santa's making a move. And I'm like, opposite Santa? Who dat? I don't know who that is. And he's like, opposite Santa's just like me, but he's opposite in every way. He doesn't wear red, he wears blue. And he's at the South Pole instead of the North Pole. And he has 5 o'clock shadow instead of having a beard. He's the exact opposite of me and everything I stand for. So I'm like, oh, so he's like Evil Santa. And he's like, yes, exactly. And I'm like, all right, let's just call him Evil Santa then if we're gonna do this. Opposite Santa is just, you're beating around the bush there. Just call him Evil Santa. And I'm like, wait a second. Wait, before we even do this, I thought Krampus was Evil Santa, right? I thought Krampus was like the yang to Santa Claus's yin or whatever the good one is. I thought he was the opposite. And Santa's like, nah, Krampus is actually pretty cool. I mean, he's kind of a dick, but you know, he's honestly all right. And actually, at that moment, Krampus walks in from the cafe area. He got himself a new hot chocolate. He's sitting there. He's been there all day trying to mobilize all this crap together. And he's like, dude, I'm right here. And I'm like, oh, sorry, Krampus. He's like, yeah, man. Better lucky I don't whip you today, but I got enough stuff to do. We got to get this done. Evil Santa's activated. He's like, I'll say he's calling him Evil Santa too. He's like, all right, fine, whatever. He takes out a whiteboard and he's like, oh, crossing off opposite Santa. We're just calling him Evil Santa. The point is he's making his move. And I'm like, all right, well, what do you need me for? He's like, what, you have like literally thousands of elves, which I'm not sure if they're union or not, but you got like thousands of elves in this place mobilizing. They got weapons. They got swords and guns and elf bazookas. By the way, have you ever saw an elf try to fire a bazooka? It's adorably dangerous, okay? But anyway, you got Krampus helping you out. Krampus has like this 9 whipped like flog thing. I'm like, rocket launchers are strapped to it. I'm like, why do you need me? You know, what am I gonna do, right? And Santa, he lays down this giant poster of the enemies that we're going up against, and he's like, this is the reason why. Because this asshole, Evil Santa, used his demonic, evil, opposite Santa powers to bring all of these fictional characters alive as his 12 anti-holiday generals. Who are the 12 anti-holiday generals? Well, this guy decided to bring to life Perfect Cell from Dragon Ball Z, Yuha Bach, Lord Boros, Kaido. Yeah, we're going up against Kaido, so right there you can figure why he called me. Esdeath from Akame ga Kill, which I was honestly interested in, because there's quite a few things I want to talk to her about. We also got the Joker, Jason Voorhees, Yoshikage Kira. I was wondering why he didn't bring Dio alive, but then, you know, first off, dealing with Dio, I mean, maybe nobody wants that, like, underling, and also, I mean, Yoshikage Kira was way more messed up than Dio, if we're being straight up, okay? Oh, man. Lord Voldemort! He brought to life Lord Voldemort. I mean, this guy is opposite Evil Santa, whatever we're calling. He's edgy as hell if he's bringing to life Voldemort. If you want Voldemort working for you, right? Oh, man. Oh, yeah. So he also had the Emperor from Star Wars. I'm like, okay, now you're not even trying. Hannibal Lecter. I was surprised he brought back Hannibal Lecter. All right, now you're getting back on track. But finally, the last of the anti-holiday generals, probably the most sinister, just filled with absolute rage of a fictional character that I've ever encountered my entire life. And I immediately pointed him out as the major threat here, Eustace Bagg from Courage the Cowardly Dog. So I'm like, you better watch out for that mallet, because if he hits you with that, you're done. One hit KO. Perfect Cell got nothing on Eustace Bagg, all right? So I'm like, all right, Santa, I can see why you called me. Tell you what, you get me a hot chocolate from your cafe area, and I'll mull this over, and we'll figure out what we're going to do here, all right? So he's like, okay. So Santa goes back, and he sends an elf, and he brings me my hot chocolate, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just... It's a damn good hot chocolate. But that is one good thing of this whole night, that I had an authentic North Pole Santa Claus cafe, which is honestly just a Starbucks if we're being straight up. But it's pretty good. You know, you're sipping hot chocolate at the North Pole in Santa's war room. That just brings this warmth Yuletide cheer to you, you know? So I'm sitting there and I'm sitting at the freaking bullets points and who we're fighting against, and I'm like, all right, Santa, here's the thing. First thing you're gonna need to do, you can summon fictional characters, right, I assume. And Santa's like, yes, but I don't watch anime. I'm not a weeb. I don't know what's going on here. I just deliver that stuff for a living. That doesn't mean I'm into everything I deliver. You know, I spend, honestly, most of my years just chilling out and playing croquet. Santa's a croquet fan. There you go. Fun facts from Tekking today. Anyway, I'm like, all right. First thing you're gonna want to do is get yourself a Goku and a Vegeta. Alright, okay, I'm not even going into this without a Goku and a Vegeta. Best case scenario, fused. You know what? Honestly, just create a Gogeta. Alright, just create one Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4, and I think that's a good starting block. Okay, great. Alright, Yuha's there. You're gonna need to have, well, honestly, I was gonna say an Ichigo, but let's be straight up here. Aizen is way better. Now, I said, listen, this guy's a little bit difficult to rein in, but if you're gonna need somebody to actually take on Yuha and understand, because Yuha really loves to mind screw you. Aizen's the only character I know that's better than a mind screw than Yuha, so you gotta bring Aizen. Alright, I'm looking down this list. Boros, okay, you might think Saitama, right? He's like, you need a Saitama for this. I'm like, no, 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 because Saitama, it's Christmas Eve. The second we, poof him into existence, he's gonna be like, oh my god, you just poofed me into existence on Christmas Eve? I haven't even gotten any presents, right? So he's gonna run to the store, and he's not gonna be any use at all. So I'm thinking Tatsumaki, but I'm like, no, that's not gonna work either. So I'm racking my brain here. I'm like, okay, what hero could we possibly summon from the One Punch Man universe that would actively help us out here? Like, Aizen would just go along with it because, this is obviously the most interesting thing happening right now, so Aizen's gonna do it. Obviously, Gogeta's gonna help us out, but, who am I gonna summon from the hero? So I'm like, you know what? Moomin Rider! Bring out Moomin Rider! He's a cool dude, he'll help us out. So we get Moomin Rider out there. Kaido is obviously going to be, honestly, I just jumped to Garp. I just bring Garp in, he could deal with that. Yoshikage Kira, I'm like, alright, like, we can honestly deal with him. You could just send some elves down to, like, buffer the Killer Queen a little bit. But we can figure out. As long as we don't do Bites the Dust, though, I think we're good on Yoshikage Kira. Then the rest of them, we didn't have time to plan. I'm like, alright, okay, the Joker, maybe Batman was like, we don't have time, get in the sleigh. And I'm like, I'm not even ready for this yet. And I was like, whatever, let's go. So we just get in the sleigh, and we book down to the South Pole, Antarctica. On the way there, by the way, Santa's like, this is the reason why I never deliver down here. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. He's just like, it sucks for the scientists that work down here because no one lives in Antarctica except for the scientists. He's like, oh yeah, I forward those presents to their families, but all that's rest down here is just, evil opposite Santa and penguins who are actually his minions. I'm like, the penguins are working with evil Santa. And at this point, I realize, is this just the Ice King from Adventure Time? Like, he lives in a cold ice palace. He's got penguins that serve him. And like, are we literally going up against the Ice King right now? Because, I mean, I might be giving the Ice King a little bit too much credit, but I think Gogeta is a little bit too much of an overkilling the Ice King. Just a little bit, So he's like, well, no, he's like the Ice King. Just replace all the sadness and depression with absolute evil. I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, that's a lot of evil. Okay, yeah, this is, what about his sad backstory? Replace it with an evil backstory. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, this is pretty bad. All right, so here's the deal. All right, I thought Santa was a little bit too much here, but this is the plan, and we didn't find this out until later, but I'm just cutting to the chase here of what evil Santa's plan is, okay? What do you think evil Santa's plan is, all right? You probably think it's something really basic, like, I want to take over the world, or I want to replace all of children's presents with hardtack or something. Something stupid, right? No. Evil Santa's plan is to somehow, and I never even got a real answer with how he planned on doing this, reversing the solar system. Does that, I know, it's hard to understand, isn't it? Well, yeah. So, he wants to take every planet, like, take Mercury and replace it to where Neptune was. Take Venus and put it where Uranus is. Take the Earth and replace it to where Saturn is. Which would kill us, which, it is an effective way of wiping out all life on the planet. Like, if you want all of life to disappear into the vacuum of space and just freeze to death, I mean, putting the Earth where Saturn is would definitely do it. It's just, why though? It's just like, there's so many more easy ways to do this. You got this litany of anti-holiday generals, and yet you're doing this random thing? It's just like, okay, whatever. All right. So, first thing is, we have to do an airdrop, so we get in our freaking, we get in our raid suits and whatever, and we get, it's like, go, and we just shoot out and stuff, and, honestly, once again, I was pretty much on the ball with the Gogeta thing, because Gogeta took out, the Emperor, and Hannibal Lecter, and, Jason Voorhees, and, even the Joker, which, you never know with the Joker. By the way, this wasn't Heath Ledger Joker, this was, like, Jack Nicholson Joker, so that was the Joker we were dealing with. If you thought it was like a Joaquin Phoenix Joker, or if you thought it was, Heath Ledger Joker, no, this was more comedic Joker, okay? So, yeah, Gogeta, though, I mean, he's freaking Gogeta, alright? Moomin Rider fighting against Boros. You know what? He actually did a lot better than I thought he would. He actually lasted a full second against Boros. I was so proud of him. He got completely atomized. He was literally a pile of goop by the end of the night, but he lasted a whole second, alright? So Gogeta goes to start dealing with Boros. Boros, and my goodness, that was an awesome fight. And then Cell shows up, and then the fusion wears off, and we literally have Vegeta going up against Perfect Cell and Goku fighting Lord Boros. That was so cool. Even me and Santa kind of took some time to watch that. He pulled out the popcorn out of his bag. We had some thermoses full of hot cocoa, and I'm like, oh my god, this is just amazing. This is great. Now, while we were enjoying that fight, so many elves died. So many ridiculous elves got killer queened. Like, it was not even funny. Like, I thought, like, the general idea here is that he killed so many elves, eventually they would just gwomp him, and then it's like whenever the wasps attack, whenever a wasp attacks a beehive, and the bees just kind of like, gwomp the wasp, and eventually just heat up their body heat, and they just die that way. That's what I was gonna think what was gonna happen with Kira and Killer Queen, alright? But just, I want to say ballpark 500 elves died. I mean, Killer Queen was just massacring them, alright? So then Santa's like, I think it's time that I take action. He takes out his candy katana, and he goes up against Killer Queen, alright? I'm like, alright, Santa, I'm gonna get moving. So I start running down the hallway. I see Esdeath. Esdeath's hanging out there, okay? And I'm thinking, ooh, Esdeath, I get to fight Esdeath. That's really cool. Except, she's Esdeath, so when I find her, she literally has made an entire throne out of the dead elf flesh that Killer Queen made, and she was making one of the other elves lick her boot, and so she's just covered in elf blood, and I'm just like, she's still hot, she's Esdeath, but I took one look at that, and I'm like, oh, like you know how you want to talk to the girl you really like in high school or whatever, and you pump yourself up like, today's the day I'm gonna tell her, today's the day I'm gonna tell her, and then as soon as you get within spitting distance, it's just like all of that confidence you built up just vanishes like a fart in the wind. Just so that's what happened with me. So I just keep on running. I see her on the side hallway. I turn in the opposite direction. I gotta find Evil Santa. I gotta put an end to this Yuletide nightmare, alright? I'm just hoping I don't run into Eustace. I'm like, please, I don't care who I have to go up against. If some horrible figure from fiction that could just kill me in 18 different ways, just please don't let me go up against Eustace, alright? So I turn a corner and I bump into Kaido in his human form, and I'm like, or Oni form, or whatever you want to call it. And I bump into Kaido, and I'm just like, oh, thank God it wasn't Eustace. Woo! And then Kaido's like, you think you can beat... Boom! Kaido gets pounded flat immediately. He goes from this giant imposing figure, he goes all scaly, like he's about to transform into a dragon and just kill me in one shot, and then 1 second later, he just crushed. And behind Kaido is Eustace Bag. He's like, blah, 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 talking about turning into a dragon or whatever. You're not getting close to Evil Santa. And he takes out the mask and he's like, booga, booga, booga. And I'm like, oh, God, no! And I start running in the opposite direction, but he's a lot faster for an old man, all right? So eventually I just jump into this sewer grate and I just land in the under gooey, everything was green for some reason, these weird underground gooey sewers of the South Pole or whatever. I don't know, maybe it's where the entire world pumps all of its toxic waste or whatever. I don't know. I end up down there, and I come in contact with this goop, and I end up getting superpowers, okay? Now, with these superpowers, you think they might be able to actually, fight against Evil Santa and Eustace and everything. But unfortunately, no. The power only made me slightly more cringy and gave me the ability to talk really, really fast, okay? That's all the ability gave me. So pretty much the same as I've always been, okay? But luckily, when I managed to get my way out of the sewer, Eustace was gone. So I'm like, alright, I'll let Aizen, or, honestly, Goku and Vegeta are gonna have to wait until they confuse again to even deal with this guy, and even then, I don't know if that's a good shot. Eustace with that mallet, man, he can knock that Big Bang Kamehameha right back at him, so I'm gonna leave that to them, alright? But anyway, luckily I managed to find my way to the Master Control Room, and there he was, in his mighty throne of skulls and ice himself, opposite Santa. Evil Santa, okay? Now, here's the thing. Santa, I believe, was a little bit misinformed on exactly what opposite Santa was, because you'd think opposite Santa, you think like, okay, instead of red, he wears blue, because he's opposite, right? No, he's literally opposite in every sense of the word, okay? So he doesn't wear clothing at all. He's naked. He doesn't have any body hair whatsoever. And since Santa is alive, Evil Santa, opposite Santa, whatever the hell stupid name you want to call him, he's dead. I literally walk into his room, and he's just a corpse, sitting on a chair. And is he a zombie? No, he's just dead. I go up, and I poke him, and I'm like, hello, sir? And the skull just falls off his rotting flesh and just lands on the ground, and I'm thinking, okay. You're asking me at this point to explain what the hell just happened? Like, how did the 12 anti-holiday generals come into being? I don't know. I don't. All right, I just walk into the room and he's dead. All right, I poke him, he falls apart. They go into the room with me. Santa's there. Santa defeats Kira. He's holding his severed head. He's just like, oh, this boy was very, very naughty. I looked into his mind and Santa is scarred for the rest of time. Be gone with you. And then he tosses freaking Yoshikage Kira's head out into the vast, empty wastelands of the Antarctic, right? And then we all see this corpse on the ground. He's like, what happened? He's like, I don't know. How, but he was, he's like, wait, what? Santa, pause. Everybody kind of looks at Santa. He's like, Santa, explain this to me. Like, have you ever actually seen opposite Santa before? And he's like, well, no, but, I mean, you know he exists. And I'm like, no. I never assumed that. I never assumed opposite Santa was even a thing. He's like, but it's the North Pole, so who lives at somebody has to live at the South Pole. And I'm like, no, nobody has to live at the South Pole. Literally nobody. And I'm like, oh, well, who does? I'm like, just, I don't know, some scientists and penguins, and that's it. We killed so many penguins tonight. Like, why? Why are we even here? And then Santa just has a moment like, okay, how to describe the look he has? Like, all right, you know that expression people have? It's like when they're so sure they didn't screw the pooch on something, but then they realize they did. Like, no, I didn't do this. You know, somebody else did this. And it's like, no, you did it. I'm like, no, I did. And then you realize, like, oh shit, right, I kind of did. I just forgot that I did, or I indirectly did it and I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, that was the expression on Santa's face. He has like a, well, I don't know what's going, oh, I think Santa made a ho-ho. And I'm like, what? And he's like, okay, I think what might have happened here, this is gonna be funny. I think what happened here, is last night I had a dream about opposite Santa, which accidentally brought him into existence, and I dreamed that he created 12 anti-holiday generals, which brought them into existence, and so then this happened. And I'm like, so this is all your fault. Because Santa Claus apparently has the ability to bring fictional characters into reality, an ability which I'm just realizing at this point was never something that was canonically mentioned in any of the holiday cheers. You know, like, where's the Christmas Carol where it's just like, Santa Claus is coming down the chimney to bring to life all of your fictional characters tonight? Like, I didn't even know he could do that, but he could. So I'm like, all right, Santa, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go see a doctor, and you're gonna get some kind of drug that allows you to not dream ever again, and then you are going to take me, but first, before all of that, you're gonna give me the thing you owe me, alright? Because here's the thing, when Santa Claus calls in an order, there's a stipulation involved, okay? This is a man that literally gives toys and gifts to everybody in the world in one night. If there's anything you can get, Santa can give it for you. And there's this unspoken agreement that when he calls on you to do something, you get one thing. The thing that you want. I don't care who you are in this world. I don't care how old you are. I don't care where you're living at. Everybody has that one thing. The one thing that you would move heaven and earth to get. All right? Maybe if you're like a Buddha or something and you're like, I am detached from all material possessions. Maybe you don't have that. But I think the 99.999% of every other person has that, all right? I know I do. So I'm like, Santa, you're gonna go to a doctor, you're gonna get that thing, but first you're gonna give me the thing you owe me, then you're gonna go and drop me off home, and I demand at least Comet to take me, because Vixen was a little drunk, I don't know, he was swaying a little bit, and then we're gonna be good, okay? And then Santa kind of looks rather disappointed, he's like, okay, he sheaves his candy katana, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Matt, here you go, and he gives me the thing that I want, he gives me his gift, and I'm like, thank you, and then I'm like, alright, we can go, and then Comet, get on his back, and he takes me back here, and hi, how you doing? It's the end of the story. I don't know what he's up to tonight. I don't know if Christmas is canceled or not, so you're just gonna have to keep track on that. My family always celebrates it on January 7th anyway, because my family is Russian Orthodox, or Ukrainian Orthodox, or whatever the hell we are, so we got 2 weeks left to plan on that, but yeah. Well, oh wait, why am I so pissed? Why am I so mad? Because the fat man screwed me over. That's why I'm mad. The one thing I wanted, one thing more than anything. Pop-Tart snack sticks. They were delicious and they were discontinued in 2002. It's the only thing I wanted. He gave me a box of them. They were stale, though. They were from 2002. Santa couldn't even give me a fresh box of snack sticks. He has a giant workshop that can literally create iPhones and all the video game consoles that kids want. You know how complicated these things are? These elves are like IT at this point, but he can't make a box of freaking Kellogg snack sticks. I don't know if there's a lesson to be had here, but that's my Christmas story. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride. And I don't know what happened to Eustace. He still might be out there somewhere in the world, so you just watch yourself, okay? He might be trapped in Antarctica, but he'll find a way. He'll find a way. Merry Christmas, everyone.